Antonio Brown made nearly $100 million playing in the NFL, but you wouldn't know it by looking at his bank account today.
100 million,
Yeah.
for sure.
For sure.
How much did you spend of that?
Well, I just filed Chapter 11 bankrupt. So I spent all of it. I blew all.
While he flexed on the field, his baby mamas were cashing in off it, riding in Bentleys, living in mansions, and calling on child support checks like clockwork.
You end up getting arrested over unpaid child support.
Yeah, man.
From legal battles to rent requests gone viral, Brown's money didn't just disappear, it got divided. And the deeper you look, the more it seems his fortune was spent on everything but himself. Baby mama drama, the high cost of Antonio Brown's relationships. In the glamorous yet tumultuous world of professional athletes, few financial sagas have captured public attention quite like the complex web of relationships between former NFL star Antonio Brown and the mothers of his children. At the center of Brown's most publicized financial disputes is Chelsea Kyrus, born in 1989 in Ohio, a former teacher turned real estate agent who shares 4 children with the former wide receiver. Their relationship, marked by multiple engagements and breakups, represents the most significant financial connection in Brown's personal life. As the mother of 3 sons, Autonomy, born April 1st, 2014, Ali, born March 23rd, 2015, Apollo, born August 2nd, 2017, and an unnamed 4th child, Kyrus has been entitled to substantial child support from Brown's NFL earnings. While specific amounts of child support payments to Kyrus remain largely undisclosed, the financial dynamics of their relationship have occasionally spilled into public view. Perhaps the most tangible evidence of Brown's financial generosity toward Kyrus came in the form of an extravagant gift, an Arctic-colored $180,000 Bentley Bentayga described as her dream car. This lavish purchase occurred during Brown's peak earning years when he was commanding $17 million per season as the NFL's highest-paid wide receiver. However, this generosity existed alongside significant financial conflicts. In January 2020, Kyrus filed a paternity lawsuit against Brown in a Florida court, seeking to legally establish him as the father of their children, determine child support payments, and establish a custody schedule. This legal action followed a highly publicized confrontation at Brown's Florida mansion, where he accused Kyrus of stealing his Bentley, the very vehicle he had previously gifted her. Complicating matters further, Brown simultaneously initiated an eviction lawsuit against Kyrus, attempting to remove her from his Fort Lauderdale estate despite her role as the mother of his 4 children. The property dispute escalated to the point where a judge ordered mandatory mediation in January 2020, highlighting the entangled nature of their personal and financial lives. But the conflicts didn't end with legal proceedings. In December 2019, Brown publicly accused Kyrus of attempting to scam him out of $25,000, sharing screenshots of text messages on social media as evidence. This accusation, whether substantiated or not, reflects the atmosphere of financial mistrust that has characterized some of Brown's relationships with his children's mothers. While Kyrus represents Brown's most established family connection, his financial obligations extend to 3 other women who have borne his children. Wiltress Jackson has been particularly vocal about financial disputes with the former NFL star, publicly criticizing him for failing to pay nearly $31,000 in child support for their daughter, Antoniah, born in 2008. The situation escalated dramatically in 2023, with multiple arrest warrants issued against Brown for unpaid support. In April 2023, a judge issued an arrest warrant for Brown for failing to pay $30,000 in child support to Jackson, though he resolved this by making the payment before being taken into custody. The pattern repeated in August 2023, when another arrest warrant was issued for missing a $15,000 payment, which he settled by paying the amount plus an additional $5,000 in attorney fees. The most dramatic chapter in their financial conflict occurred in October 2023, when Brown was arrested in Broward County, Florida, on a warrant for outstanding child support payments. Following his arrest, he paid $15,000 toward child support, but according to Jackson, still owed nearly $31,000, suggesting that his payment covered only part of his total obligation.
You end up getting arrested over unpaid child support.
Yeah,
Oh,
man.
you're money hungry. But then you posted a graphic picture of your child's mother.
Yeah.
That's your kid's mother.
Brown's response to these child support issues has revealed his perspective on these financial obligations. In an interview, he expressed frustration with the system and his portrayal.
Anytime someone's making money more important than the principle of the relationship with you and your kid, you know, and I went to child support, I had the wrong lawyers, man. My lawyer was saying that this wasn't that.
Brown has also established financial provisions for his children beyond regular support payments, as he explained.
They got trust funds, so I don't like when people try to manipulate my well-being or manipulate my name just because people made it negative and they could get off a couple negativity. So I don't like that because I really, take my kids and my family important.
Right.
You know, the child support, I had really the sheriff waiting, by my guard gate, chasing me in undercover cars because, I was giving the wrong information in regards to it. But, we pay our dues, we do the right thing.
The most recent addition to Brown's financial obligations is Sydney Moreau, a model born in 1994 who works with brands like Alo Yoga and gave birth to Brown's seventh child, a son named Ace, in July 2024. Their financial relationship gained public attention in March 2025 when Brown shared private Instagram DMs where Moreau asked for help with rent payment. In the messages, Moreau wrote, "Hi babe, I hope you're doing okay. Ace is doing good. I could really use some help with paying my rent this month. If you could help me, that would be very helpful." Brown's response was explicitly disrespectful, reportedly replying, "F you be go s***." When Moreau pointed out that Ace lives under my roof, you have an obligation to help Antonio. Brown shared the exchange publicly with the caption, "They just be wanting me to see my sons not raise them using my son's pawn for rent money." This incident provides a rare glimpse into the direct financial request between Brown and a baby mama, showcasing both the specific nature of the financial support sought and Brown's combative attitude towards such requests. The public airing of this private financial dispute also highlights how social media has become a battlefield in these relationships, with financial matters often weaponized in public feuds. Brown's fourth baby mama, Shamika Brailsford from Pittsburgh, gave birth to his first son, Antonio Brown Jr., in 2007. While specific details about their financial arrangements are less publicly documented, their relationship has also experienced legal tensions, including a 2018 incident where Brailsford accused Brown of kidnapping their son, an allegation his lawyer denied. To fully understand how Brown's baby mamas spend his NFL millions, we must consider the substantial wealth that has flowed through his hands during his career. The former wide receiver earned approximately $80.5 million in pre-tax salary during his 12-year NFL career, with the majority, roughly $69 million, coming from his 9 seasons with the Pittsburgh Steelers. His peak earnings came through contracts like a 5-year, $42 million extension in 2012 and a 4-year, $68 million deal in 2017, making him the highest paid receiver in the league at that time. Beyond his base salary, Brown's income included endorsement deals with brands such as Nike, Pepsi, and Zenith, though many of these partnerships were eventually terminated due to his growing controversies. In total, Brown has claimed to have earned around $100 million total, including off-field ventures, a substantial sum that has funded both his personal lifestyle and his family obligations. Despite this immense wealth, Brown's financial journey has taken a troubling turn, culminating in a Chapter 11 bankruptcy filing in Florida in May 2024. In this filing, he claimed assets of just $50,000 or less, while listing debts of approximately $3 million, a stark illustration of financial mismanagement. Among his debts was a $1.2 million judgment owed to a truck driver from a 2020 assault lawsuit, reflecting how legal troubles have contributed to his financial decline. Brown's own admission about his financial habits provides insight into his current situation. During a podcast appearance with the Nelk Boys, he candidly stated that he blew everything, acknowledging his role in his financial downfall. This admission aligns with his well-documented spending habits, which include multiple luxury properties, high-end vehicles, and extravagant purchases. Lifestyles and spending, how the mothers utilize Brown's support. Understanding how Antonio Brown's baby mamas spend his NFL earnings requires examining both their documented financial activities and the broader lifestyle patterns that have emerged from their connections to the former star receiver. While specific details of personal expenditures are often private, public records, interviews, and social media provide glimpses into how these women utilize the financial support they receive. Chelsea Kiris, as the mother of 4 of Brown's children, presumably receives the most substantial financial support among his baby mamas. Her lifestyle reflects a blend of personal career ambitions and the benefits of her connection to Brown. Described as a former teacher who transitioned to real estate, Kiris has established a professional identity separate from her relationship with Brown, suggesting that not all her financial resources come directly from child support payments. One of the most visible manifestations of Brown's financial support for Kiris was the Arctic-colored $180,000 Bentley Bentayga he purchased for her. This luxury vehicle represented not only a substantial financial investment, but also reflected the lavish lifestyle Brown enabled during his peak earning years. However, this gift later became a point of contention, as evidenced by a public altercation where Brown demanded its return, underscoring the complicated nature of their financial exchanges. Housing has been another significant aspect of Kiris's financial relationship with Brown. Court documents revealed that she lived in Brown's Fort Lauderdale estate until their relationship deteriorated, leading to his attempt to evict her through legal proceedings. This suggests that during their relationship, Brown's financial support included providing high-end housing for Kiris and their children, a substantial form of indirect financial support beyond direct payments. In the aftermath of their relationship, Kyrus has focused on building a new life away from Brown's reckless behavior, emphasizing her priority on stability for their children. This transition likely involves using support from Brown to fund essential needs for their 4 children, including housing, education, and healthcare. However, specific details about how she allocates these funds remain largely private. For Sydney Moreau, the most recent mother of Brown's children, financial patterns are still emerging, given the recent birth of their son Ace in July 2024. As a model for Alo Yoga, originally from Louisiana, Moreau has her own source of income through modeling contracts and social media endorsements, though her financial connection to Brown has become increasingly public. The most revealing insight into Moreau's financial relationship with Brown came through the March 2025 incident where she asked for help with rent payment via Instagram DM. This request suggests that despite Brown's obligation to provide child support for their son, Moreau was experiencing financial difficulties that necessitated additional assistance for basic housing costs. The public nature of Brown's response, sharing the exchange on social media and refusing the request in vulgar terms, highlights the contentious aspect of their financial relationship. While specific information about Moreau's spending habits is limited, a 2024 interview with Haute Living mentioned her splurging on her baby boy's first pair of Jordans from a Louisiana sneaker store called Politics. Though the exact price wasn't specified, this purchase represents a luxury item for her infant son, potentially funded by support from Brown. There have also been references to Moreau modeling a $6,000 dress, though this appears related to her professional work rather than personal expenditure. Wiltress Jackson, mother of Brown's daughter Antoniah, has been the most vocal about financial matters, particularly regarding child support disputes. Her public statements have focused primarily on Brown's alleged failure to meet his financial obligations rather than on her own spending patterns. In her October 2023 interview with TMZ Sports, Jackson emphasized that the support was essential for raising their daughter, particularly given Antonia's promising athletic career in track and field. Jackson noted that Antonia had received interest from over 80 schools for track and field, including prestigious institutions like the University of Miami and Oregon. This suggests that a significant portion of the child support funds would be directed towards supporting their daughter's athletic development and potential college career, a substantial financial investment in her future rather than personal luxury spending by Jackson herself. Shamika Brailsford, mother of Antonio Brown Jr., maintains a lower public profile regarding financial matters with Brown. As someone who has appeared on reality TV shows like Baddies, she has established her own public persona and potential income sources independent of Brown. Limited information is available about how she might spend support received from Brown, though their legal disputes over custody suggest that financial considerations remain a factor in their relationship. Beyond specific baby mamas, Brown has made public statements about financial provisions for his children that reveal aspects of how his support is structured. In an interview, he emphasized that his children have trust funds established for their future. This statement suggests that beyond regular child support payments, Brown has established long-term financial security for his children through trust funds, a more structured approach to wealth transfer that might reduce immediate cash flow to the baby mamas while securing his children's future financial needs. Brown has also been documented making direct purchases for his children, reflecting another avenue of financial support that bypasses the baby mamas entirely. In 2017, he bought a Rolex watch for his son, Antonio Jr., when the child was just 9 years old, demonstrating his willingness to make luxury purchases directly for his children. Additionally, in 2018, Brown acquired a $200,000 gold and diamond necklace adorned with the names of his fiancée and children, a personal item that acknowledges his family while primarily serving as a luxury item for himself. The spending patterns of Brown's baby mamas must be viewed in the context of his own lavish lifestyle, which provides insight into the financial environment surrounding these relationships. During his NFL career, Brown maintained an extraordinary level of personal expenditure, including 1. Real estate. His primary residence, a Fort Lauderdale mansion purchased for $6.6 million in 2016 and now valued at $9 million, spans 18,000 square feet with 12 bedrooms, 14 bathrooms, a home theater, 2 swimming pools, and even a synagogue. He also owned a lakefront mansion in Odessa, Florida, bought for $2.9 million in 2021, and a modern farmhouse in Tampa, Florida, purchased for $1.8 million in 2022. 2. Vehicles. Brown maintained a fleet of luxury cars, including a 2-tone Rolls-Royce Wraith, $330,000, a Rolls-Royce Phantom, $450,000, a Rolls-Royce Ghost, $330,000, a Lamborghini Huracan Spider, $380,000, and a Porsche 911 GT3 RS, $200,000. 3. Jewelry and accessories. Brown spent nearly $1 million on limited edition Godfather and Bugatti watches and invested in numerous luxury sneakers, including rare Air Jordans and Louis Vuitton shoes valued at thousands of dollars. 4. Entertainment. A Among his most extravagant expenditures was $2 million on an owner's suite for Super Bowl 56, plus 6 VIP passes for $195,000, a remarkable sum even for someone of his wealth. This pattern of extreme spending provides crucial context for understanding Brown's approach to financial support for his baby mamas and children. His willingness to spend millions on personal luxury items suggests that financial limitations were rarely a consideration during his peak earning years. However, this same spending pattern contributed to his eventual bankruptcy, potentially affecting his ability to maintain the same level of support in recent years. Brown's May 2024 bankruptcy filing marks a significant turning point in his financial story, with claimed assets of just $50,000 or less and debts of approximately $3 million. This financial collapse raises serious questions about his ongoing ability to support his baby mamas and 7 children at the level established during his playing career. The contrast between Brown's previous lifestyle of extreme luxury and his current financial distress illustrates the precarious nature of professional athletes' wealth, even those who earn tens of millions during their careers. For his baby mamas, this financial instability introduces uncertainty about future support, potentially affecting their own spending patterns and financial security. Still, we'll examine the public controversies and legal battles that have characterized Brown's financial relationships with his baby mamas, exploring how these conflicts have shaped public perception and impacted the financial dynamics between Brown and the mothers of his children. Controversies and future, social media feuds, legal battles, and bankruptcy impact. The financial dynamics between Antonio Brown and his baby mamas have frequently erupted into public view through explosive social media exchanges, legal confrontations, and headline-generating controversies. These public disputes reveal not just the personal tensions in these relationships, but also provide rare glimpses into the complex financial arrangements that bind Brown to the mothers of his children. Social media has served as the primary battlefield for many of these conflicts, with Brown frequently using platforms like X, formerly Twitter, Instagram, and Snapchat to air grievances or respond to financial demands. One of the most shocking instances occurred in January 2023, when Brown posted a sexually explicit photo of Chelsea Kiris performing sex on him on Snapchat, leading to his account being suspended. This extreme breach of privacy came in the context of their ongoing disputes over financial support and property. Kiris condemned the post on Instagram, noting she had repeatedly asked him to keep their personal life private, but he refused. The incident, which some characterized as revenge porn, represents perhaps the most egregious example of how Brown has weaponized social media in his conflicts with baby mamas, using public humiliation as a tactic in what are fundamentally financial disputes. The pattern continued in October 2022, when Brown posted a screenshot of Kiris's 2016 text conversation with another man on Snapchat, captioning it with derogatory remarks. Baby mama never been just cause you don't mean you with me. She mug shark ugly. Kiris responded on Instagram by calling out Brown's abusive behavior, sharing a photo of a broken window allegedly caused by him, and declaring she was done tolerating his character assassination after 11 years of their relationship. These social media conflicts extended to Brown's relationship with Sydney Moreau as well. In December 2024, just months after she gave birth to their son, Brown made a derogatory smash or pass post about Moreau on her 30th birthday, drawing criticism from netizens. This was followed by the March 2025 incident where Brown shared their private messages about rent assistance, publicly refusing her request in vulgar terms and accusing her of using their son as leverage for money. Brown's own explanation for his aggressive social media approach reveals his perspective on these public conflicts.
If anything in the midst of something happened, maybe it was a misunderstanding, but we don't make excuses or run from no responsibilities. But one thing I'm not gonna do, one thing we not gonna tolerate, is you could play on our name. Imagine I was in the NFL, Vlad, I could never just protect my name or combat somebody with the negativity, because obviously I represent an organization.
Yeah.
Now I'm at a point I represent myself. So if you're gonna come at me negative with the false narratives, I'm gonna be extra aggressive on you.
This statement suggests Brown views his provocative social media behavior as a form of self-defense, particularly in financial matters where he feels his reputation is being weaponized against him. His reference to no longer representing an organization indicates he feels freed from previous constraints on his public behavior, allowing him to respond more aggressively to perceived financial manipulation. Beyond social media, Brown's financial conflicts with his baby mamas have frequently escalated to formal legal proceedings. The most thoroughly documented documented legal battles involved child support disputes with Wiltris Jackson, which culminated in his October 2023 arrest in Broward County. This arrest, coming after multiple warnings and previous warrants, represented the legal system's most dramatic intervention in Brown's financial obligations to his children. Following his arrest and subsequent $15,000 payment, Brown stirred further controversy by sharing a cartoon on social media that appeared to mock the situation, declaring child support in a post aimed at his ex-girlfriend. This defiant response to legal enforcement of his financial obligations illustrates Brown's combative attitude toward the child support system, a perspective he elaborated on in interviews where he portrayed himself as victimized by financial demands. The legal entanglements with Chelsea Kyrus have been equally complex, involving both child support determinations and property disputes. In January 2020, their competing legal actions, Kyrus's paternity lawsuit seeking child support and Brown's eviction lawsuit attempting to remove her from his property, underscored how intertwined their financial and personal lives had become. These legal battles followed a dramatic incident where Brown live-streamed a confrontation with Kyrus in front of their children and police after he accused her of trying to steal his car, the very Bentley he had previously gifted her. The conflicts often centered on high-value property, with the Bentley becoming a symbol of their financial power struggles. What once represented Brown's generosity during their relationship later became a focal point for ownership disputes, highlighting how luxury gifts can become complicated assets when relationships deteriorate. Similar dynamics have played out regarding housing, with Brown attempting to evict Kyrus from his mansion despite her role as the mother of his 4 children. Public reaction to these financial disputes has been mixed, reflecting the complicated nature of child support obligations for wealthy athletes. When Brown shared his exchange with Sydney Moreau, refusing her request for rent assistance, social media responses were divided. Some criticized Brown for his disrespectful tone, with comments like, "He posted this like it was a flex," and "I don't care what happened between them, but she's the mother of his child. He doesn't have to give her rent money, but the disrespect in that text is next level." Others defended his position, arguing if he has already paid child support, why would she have the audacity to ask for help with rent, and suggesting that if she couldn't afford her living situation, she should move to a cheaper place. This division in public opinion highlights broader cultural debates about financial responsibilities in co-parenting relationships, particularly when one parent has significantly greater wealth. For supporters of the baby mamas, Brown's financial obligations extend beyond minimum child support to ensuring a comfortable lifestyle for his children and, by extension, their mothers. For Brown's defenders, defined child support payments should suffice, with additional requests viewed as potential exploitation of his wealth. Behind these contentious battles lies the reality of Brown's declining financial status. His May 2024 bankruptcy filing represents a dramatic reversal for a man who once commanded tens of millions in NFL contracts. The bankruptcy documentation revealed the extent of his financial collapse, assets of just $50,000 or less against debts of approximately $3 million, raising profound questions about his continued ability to support 7 children across 4 different households. Among his substantial debts was a $1.2 million judgment owed to a truck driver from a 2020 assault lawsuit, highlighting how legal troubles have compounded his financial difficulties. Other significant judgments and unpaid bills contributed to a financial state that contrasts sharply with his previous lavish lifestyle, which included multiple mansions, a fleet of luxury vehicles, and extravagant purchases like the $2 million he spent on Super Bowl tickets. In a candid admission that reveals much about his financial trajectory, Brown stated during a podcast appearance that, "I blew all my money," acknowledging his role in his financial downfall. This statement aligns with his documented spending patterns, but raises serious concerns about the financial security of his children and their mothers going forward. Despite his bankruptcy, Brown continues to present an image of financial stability in public statements. In November 2024, months after his bankruptcy filing, he claimed to be enjoying the freedom that comes with having money during an appearance on rapper Young Miami's show, Caresha Please. This disconnect between his legal financial status and public persona creates additional complexity for the mothers of his children, who must navigate their financial planning amid uncertain support prospects. One financial bright spot for Brown remains his Fort Lauderdale mansion, which is protected under Florida's homestead law, shielding it from creditors as long as he maintains mortgage payments. This protection ensures Brown retains his primary residence despite his bankruptcy, providing some stability amid his financial turmoil. However, this same protection potentially reduces assets available to satisfy his various financial obligations, including those to his children's mothers. For the baby mamas, Brown's bankruptcy creates a precarious financial future. Child support obligations generally survive bankruptcy proceedings, but collection becomes more complicated when the payer has limited income and assets. While Brown has mentioned establishing trust funds for his children, the actual status and funding level of these trusts remain unclear, particularly in light of his broader financial collapse. The situation is especially challenging for Sydney Moreau, who as the mother of Brown's youngest child might have reasonably expected years of support based on his previous wealth. Her March 2025 request for rent assistance, coming less than a year after Brown's bankruptcy filing, suggests she may already be experiencing the practical effects of his changed financial circumstances. Fan reactions to these financial dynamics have focused heavily on Brown's spending habits and their role in his current situation. Social media users have mocked his bankruptcy as the least surprising bankruptcy ever and labeled him Mr. Blown Cash, reflecting a public perception that his financial downfall was predictable given his extravagant spending patterns. This ridicule extends to discussions of his child support obligations, with some viewing his financial commitments to multiple baby mamas as contributing factors to his bankruptcy. For more content like this, click on the videos showing on your screen now.